and hoping that this is remembrance for you as well to practice your voice and embrace the full spectrum of your voice.
Full spectrum of your life.
That too.
Tell us who and exactly what's
The sun forsake me and the moon forgave me.
Hi everyone, welcome to The Awakened Journalist. I'm Emiliana Molina Fajardo and we do conscious journalism for the good of humankind. Today we have Emilia Garth with us. She's a musician and songwriter of Native Hawaiian heritage. She sings in Spanish, in Hawaiian, Portuguese, English, Yoruba, and Gurmukhi. She's going to explain a little bit to us what Gurmukhi is because I didn't know. Her musical performances take us on meditative journeys and upbeat chants from Indigenous tribes of the Americas. And she specializes in meditation concerts and her ethereal voice, which if you haven't had the privilege to hear her in a concert yet, you should. It effortlessly grounds serenity, enveloping audiences in a cocoon of calmness and relaxation. She's also really good at guiding the mind to find solace and the body to reclaim its peace in its sacred sanctuary, and obviously in a sacred sanctuary as well, because the spaces she chooses for her concerts and her events are really beautiful. Emilia is passionate about supporting people and healing the connection to their voice, and she's a dedicated educator offering workshops, song circles, online classes designed to help individuals discover their power within. She also has songs on all major platforms, ranging from South American medicine prayers with tribal beats to Buddhist mantras accompanied by delicate notes from her ukulele. Welcome, Emilia.
Thank you. Thank you, Emiliana.
Amazing. So we have very similar names.
I know.
And when people say Emmy, we both look like...
Yeah, whenever we're together and someone's like, Emmy, we both
Yeah,
look.
we
And
both
then
look.
whenever they say Emily, we both look.
Yep, exactly. So, but I love it. I love our names.
I love your name.
I love your name too.
People call me your name, and I still respond because it's beautiful.
Oh my gosh, actually people call me your name too and I still respond because I'm like, I don't want to correct them. It's just like whatever. But all right, so titles aside, who is Emilia?
Well, what you just said is very much who I am professionally, but beyond that, I'm a very playful person, even though I work in the realm of spirituality and I love studying. So I actually don't watch TV, I don't watch any Netflix or anything like that. I love books, I love listening to the Vedas, studying the Vedic texts. That I'm kind of a nerd, and I've made peace with that. But I'm also very, very playful. I love dancing, I love nature, I love goofing around, and I'm very childlike. And I think that that's what a lot of us as adults lose. And so through the work that I do, even though, yes, it is very spiritual and it is very deep, also, I was once told that if your teacher, especially a spiritual teacher, doesn't laugh at himself or doesn't have a sense of humor, then how much has he or she accepted himself or herself? So how much can he or she teach you about life? So that's who I am.
I love that.
I'm a playful spirit in a spiritual realm.
I love that. I love that. Yes, please, to more people like you in this earth. I need more playfulness in my life. God knows I need more playfulness in my life because I come from a background where I felt like I had to be very serious all the time. And like it was a very frowned upon to make mistakes publicly, being in the news industry and making mistakes on camera or in a newscast. And so I am learning to be more playful. I'm very playful in intimate spaces and with friends. And though in work, I could definitely be way more playful. So please teach me your ways.
Well, it's an ebb and a flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm actually working on inviting more play into my life now.
I love that.
So I'll let you know how it goes.
Beautiful. All right, let's make this podcast very playful. All right, so we touched a little bit upon the many languages in which you sing, which is beautiful. And I actually didn't know what Gurmukhi was. And I had to ask you Do you want to tell us?
Sure, sure. So I don't consider myself an expert on anything because the more you know, the more you realize that you don't know.
Yeah.
And I
I've
love
been there.
learning, but I know that I don't know everything. But what I do know is so many of the mantras that you'll hear, particularly in like a vinyasa class or something, those will be in Sanskrit. And those are very strong mantras because every single syllable there's a science to the meridians. When you pronounce the syllable, the meridians are activated within your body and then they go out. And so it's very powerful and potent, all those syllables. Yet in the Kundalini lineage, so Kundalini comes from the north of India, close to the Punjab region, so close to Pakistan, that region, and we could go even deeper into that.
Of course.
But
Take it away.
no, that would be that would be an
I love
entire
going
hour.
deep.
But that's a different language, and so the mantras from Kundalini are generally in Gurmukhi, and they'll be the ones that you hear Rama, Dasa, Sase Sohang, and Vaheguru. And so whenever you say Guru, you really need to hit the top of your tongue, the top of your palate with your tongue. Ra, ra, ra.
Ra, ra, ra.
To
Guru.
guru,
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 guru.
guru.
So it's percussive. Putta, putta, putta.
Actually, that's really
To-
fun too.
yeah.
Guru, 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 guru.
To activate
I
that
bet you-
correct energy.
I love that. I bet you people driving in their car right now are going guru, 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 guru.
I hope that they
I
are.
hope they are too.
Yeah, and then another little thing, I have a mantra out that's Vaheguru. And so I was researching so deeply to see if it's with a W, the Wahe, or with a V, because it got transliterated. When you use a language that's not the original language and you have to translate the sounds, if there's not a letter that's precisely the same sound as the original language, then you have to just choose which one is the closest. So if you look at texts, then it's neither, sometimes you'll see a Vaheguru and sometimes you'll see a Waheguru. So sometimes a V and sometimes a W. So I researched forever and ever about that, and I kept finding it in both forms. So forgive me if in your lineage it's with a V. I did my best and I just released it with a W.
Oh, I love that.
But my
Okay.
teacher also said, it's not the interpretation of what we do, it's the intention. Because every single person will have a different interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as our intention is pure,
Yeah.
that's what matters most.
Oh, I just got the chills. So true. As long as our intention is pure, the way that others receive it or perceive it is beyond our control, and you know, that's okay. Let's go into a little bit of your song circles and, you know, the way that you work with supporting others and expanding their voices through your music. And it's really powerful. I've been to your song circles. I think the first time I ever sang publicly in front of so many people was in one of your song circles.
And how did you feel?
Well, first of all, let me tell you, I felt really embarrassed because, funny story, we all sang in the circle, right? And my turn came after a child had sang. I don't know if you remember this.
Let's go down memory lane.
Yes. And so I was very embarrassed because she was really good. And I was like, oh my God, I have to go after that. And two, it was the song that I sang. At that point, I was kind of entering into like the medicine music world, so I didn't know any of the medicine music songs. So I knew a more like mainstream song. And so I asked like, hey, can I sing this? And you were like, yeah, as long as it's like, you know, speaking about something positive. And so that was another thing that I was a little embarrassed about or shy about. And then third and most embarrassing is, for a second when it was my turn, I guess I didn't see the child. And so they went to pass the microphone and I took it and she was like, wait, it's my turn.
Oh.
It was so embarrassing. And I was like, oh my God, I almost just skipped a child's turn. This is so embarrassing. So yeah, I felt very embarrassed. And then after I went, when she was done, it was fine. It was like definitely stepping out of my comfort zone, singing for the first time in front of so many people. And it was a beautiful experience. And from there, I've really think found a deeper level of compromise within myself to continue exploring my voice and expanding my voice.
The first step of many.
Yes. So
that's what we
you.
do.
Exactly. So aside from the song circles, teach me a little bit of your ways and how you work with students to support them in expanding their voice and why it's so important.
Outside of song circles or
And in song circles as well.
Okay, so song circles are really powerful because, as you mentioned, there's a process. There's an unfolding of one leaf, one petal at a time to show the jewel within. And so when you first come to a song circle, we'll play a game to loosen everybody up and to get everybody connected and to get everybody to know one another and one another's energies. And then we'll all sing together, and then we offer an opportunity for everybody to share a song. And I think it's really important during that entire process, leading up to the opportunity for everyone to share a song by themselves, to let everybody know how safe it is in that space, how every single person has a voice that's unique, and it's a microcosm of the macrocosm, which is this world in which we live. Every single person is unique, and once they embrace that uniqueness, instead of trying to hide it, instead of trying to point fingers and compare to other people, once they accept themselves, they probably will begin casting less judgment, and their energy will just completely change because it won't be one of competitiveness, it will be one of camaraderie. And the voice is just one thing. We're not supposed to sound like anyone else, because sounding like someone else is imitating someone else. And in life, that's not what we're meant to do. We're meant to be ourselves. Yes, we will have our own influences, and those will be the people around us. They'll influence us many times without us even realizing it. Only upon reflection do we realize many things in life. But we're not supposed to sound like anyone else. We can have influences, but never imitate, yeah? And that's the main thing about the voice. And then also what I love, even though in some lineages it can be considered disrespectful, is when people do new versions of favorites. So you mix up the beat, you change the instrumentation, you change the arrangement. That's what life is for. I always like to use the metaphor, there are a million different recipes for tomato sauce. So you just make your own recipe, put your sauce on the pizza, and most people like pizza, so you're going to be cool. And if they don't like pizza, nothing is for everyone, and it's all right too.
Yep, I love that. That's a great way to express it. I love that, and it's so true because on my journey to exploring my voice, I was very used to my voice as a journalist. So like in the newscast, and it's so funny because people ask me to imitate it all the time. I'm just going to do it, but I would start the newscast like, Buenas tardes, los saluda Emiliana Molina, bienvenidos a su noticiero de Univision Washington. So it's like a very serious voice. And I was so used to that it was so hard for me to find a new version of my voice and to get out of that seriousness and find a more playful tone, whether through music or conversations like this one in the podcast. And it's been a journey of self-exploration, and I've come to understand that each individual voice carries a vibration. And when we speak or when we sing, we're sending that vibration and those light codes essentially to the universe. So when you say the voice is healing, this is when I want to like dive deeper into. It's not just healing for everyone around us, but it's also healing for ourselves and all of our bodies, because our body feels that vibration. And when we allow ourselves to express it, regardless of what it sounds like and how it comes out, but we just allow ourselves to continue like improving on it and getting better and getting to know it and playing with the polarities and the whole spectrum of what our voice can sound like, it is beyond powerful. And I've been able to do that in song circles with you, with my dear friend Ala as well, in medicine music ceremonies, and just it's really been so rewarding. And I want to ask you to dive a little bit deeper into the voice, the tools that you give us permission to use in our box of tools with our voice. And essentially, I guess, like, for someone who's afraid to step into a song circle and sing publicly, like, how do you invite them forward? to just play with our voice.
Oh my goodness. Playing with your voice is so fun because it's always inside of you. It's not like you need to go somewhere and you need to like, oh, I forgot my voice at home. No.
I love that.
Yeah, and it's so many things in life are just giving yourself permission because we're adults. If you're listening to this podcast, chances are you're an adult. You don't need anybody to give you permission to do anything. Ever.
Amen.
So think about all the things that you've been holding yourself back from. Write a list, and then on top write down, I give myself permission to. And go for it.
I love that. Yes.
And then when you were talking about full spectrum, that exact phrase was in my mind because our voice has so much fullness if we allow it to. And I'll just give you an example. This is one of the warm-ups. I'm going to back away from the microphone for everybody's ears. But I do something called the siren. I don't know if have we done this before?
No,
maybe?
this I haven't done.
Okay, I'm still probably need to get further away from the microphone, but
Okay.
we start low,
And you
low,
can
low.
push it away too. You can, yeah.
So we start low, and we go ooh, and then we go high, and then we come all the way back. So just like a siren on the street. So I'm gonna let you hear it from about a foot away. Ooh. And that's the full spectrum. That's actually not the full spectrum. I can even go lower and raspier. So imagine singing that, and imagine like the R&B notes that where you can get like ooh, and then these gospel-y ethereal notes like and if I never let myself express that, then I would never know that. And then once again, it's the microcosm of the macrocosm of life. Like if you never try something, you'll never know how much joy it can bring you. You'll never know what it will teach you about yourselves. You'll never learn your limitations. And then you might think, well, actually, this is a temporary limitation. Let me push this. Let me explore this. And life is to be lived and explored and experienced. Like, wear your freak flag.
I
Go
love
for
that.
it.
I love that. We just got full permission to wear our freak flag. I love it.
Write that on your mirror above your sink. So you brush your
Exactly.
teeth every day and it's wear your freak flag. And then find a really fun song to dance around to while you brush your teeth every day. It'll change your day.
It will.
It will.
100% it will. Oh my gosh, I love that. Funny because we have people next door. And I don't know if you guys can hear them at home. You probably can't, but they heard us doing the siren, and I just overheard them saying, I don't know what's going on next door. But I was like, wait, I want to try that. So I'm gonna try my siren as well, and you let me know how I do.
Okay, first bring your hands to your rib cage right below
Okay.
your very good.
Right there.
So for the
Microphone
listeners
a
at
little bit
home,
further away.
yeah, if you want to do this at home, bring your hands, if you are wearing a bra or if you were to wear a bra, you bring your hands just below your bra line, wrap your thumbs around the back of your ribs, fingers to the front, breathe in through your nose and feel your rib cage expand laterally. Take a few breaths like that. So the breath goes beyond the shoulders. You feel the lateral expansion, so it's going all the way into your diaphragm, giving yourself support because breath is life. Then you find the lowest note that's comfortable, and you start with the ooh sound. Ooh, and then you just gradually slide up until the highest note that's comfortable, and then you come back down. But the breath is life, and the breath is what's going to help you with this. So whenever you're ready, just keep the ooh sound. Did you give yourself full permission there?
I think I did. I definitely held myself back.
Yeah. See? And we can hear
I love
it.
that you can tell.
Of course I can
love that
tell.
you can tell. Of course you can tell. How
That's
can
what
you
I
not
do all day, every day. And my neighbors probably think that I'm crazy. Because I receive clients in my home. And of course I don't accept a lot of clients because I'm very, very picky with who I let into my space.
I love that. Good,
But-
as you should be.
we make sirens on occasion, and it's so liberating.
Oh man.
I have one student who likes to walk around the neighborhood and just make siren sounds because
Yeah.
she's like, I've never felt this free.
Oh my gosh.
We walk around
I
South
love
Beach,
that.
Miami, and we just make siren sounds, making eye contact with people.
Yeah. And making them feel really awkward. I love it. I love
I actually
it.
have a story.
Tell me.
Okay, so a few years ago, I love the beach. I'm much more of a beach person than mountain person. Mountains are beautiful. They have their power. They have their wisdom.
Me
they have
too.
their medicine. I'm grateful for them. But I feel very, very, very at home and just nourished and full at the beach. So I love walking barefoot on the beach. On days that I don't have clients until late, I leave my phone off. I just walk. I go to the beach by myself. I come back, and then I turn on my phone. And I know I'm going to be okay, and the world's not going to end without me. And if it does, it's going to end with me, and that's going to be okay. So I was walking on the beach one morning, and there's this guy splashing in the water, and he was yelling, but he was yelling with excitement, and he was just making these, like, a grown buff man, like splashing the water and waving kind of like a bird that was trying to learn how to fly. And he was like, oh, and I don't remember what he was saying, but it wasn't negative, it was like jubilant.
Yeah.
And he's out there by himself, couldn't see that he was with a group or anything. And my first thought was, that guy's crazy. My second thought was, I want to be that guy.
Yes.
I want to be so at awe and at wonder and jubilant about this present situation, about the texture of the water, not giving an F about what anybody thinks. And I thought, oh, I just cast judgment on someone who's having a really good time and is not hurting anybody.
Wow.
And I was like, I want to be that guy.
That's deep. That's deep. And I used to do that a lot. I think I catch myself now trying to be more observant. And I have a funny story too. I actually used to judge a friend a lot because she's very wild, very out there. And that's very much her mission, to remind people to be childlike. And I expressed this to her after I went through my own process. I was like, what am I judging in her? Like, why am I judging her so much? And it was so funny because I checked in with myself, and then I was like, oh, everything she does publicly, I do in private. So we need humans like her to show this version of ourselves and to give us permission to be that childlike. And it was beautiful because when I told her, I was like, hey, by the way, I was judging you for this, and thank you for showing me this. And she just laughed. She's like, stop. We need to do a podcast about this. You need to tell the world how much you judged me. And she's going to laugh if she hears this because she's like, no, you got to have me on the podcast telling the story. So, but it was so beautiful because we do cast judgment on people sometimes. And in reality, when we dive deeper into that judgment, we find what we truly are yearning for in a way. And in that way, you were yearning to be that guy in that moment. And I was yearning to also be able to have that self-expression and that liberation publicly. I mean, just now you were able to see that I kind of toned down my siren a little bit just so I don't interrupt the people next door that much. And how often do we do that and tone ourselves down?
Exactly.
And don't show ourselves fully. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think that's going to be the overriding theme of our conversation is full spectrum life.
I love that. Full spectrum life, full spectrum voice, full spectrum of yourself and your authenticity, embracing it all. Through the power of voice.
And exploring. It takes a lot of exploring.
Exactly. Giving ourselves permission to explore. So if you're listening now, and if you've never taken a singing class, I am going to dare you to take a singing class. Or if you're in Miami, go to a song circle with Emilia. She's amazing.
Thank you.
Emilia, okay, so hopping on the train of full spectrum voice and full spectrum life.
Choo-choo.
there we are. Choo-choo. What led you to start exploring with your voice? Was it at a very early age, or were you kind of just dropped into classes and you started exploring?
It was at a very early age. It was just 100% organic. I was an irritating little kid that loved imitating every sound. All the sounds that were around me, as soon as I realized I also could make a sound,
Yeah.
I wanted to see if I could make those sounds too.
I love it.
And also, I think that something that helped me was being around a lot of different accents growing up, helped get my ear attuned to different accents and then languages as well. And there came a point when I was a kid, I was very little, but I've been told that I did this, where so as soon as I realized I could make sounds and I could like talk, whenever anyone would talk, I would imitate them, and I would say it like under my breath, softly, just listening to my version of that. And so imagine two people having a conversation and having this little kid there imitating everything you said, but like with wonderment and very softly. So like, oh, we need to go to the grocery store. We need to go to the grocery store.
How did your parents
What do you
feel
need
about
me to
that?
get? What do you need me to get? You know,
What do you need me to get? I'm just gonna do that to my mom. It's gonna drive her crazy.
But I didn't ever mean to bother anyone.
Yeah.
It was just really interesting to produce and to feel these sounds, to try to make the sound similar. And so that's where my trauma came from.
Oh,
my
man.
entire life,
Oh,
everyone just told me to shut up.
Oh no! And I just asked, how did your parents feel about that too?
Oh, they hated it. I really didn't mean to be irritating, but I just loved sounds and singing, and I was always improvising, making up songs about everything, which I still do now.
Actually, me too. Sometimes, probably not as much as you, but I do. And then my dad is the one that's always telling me to shut up. And I'm like, Dad, I'm gonna keep singing. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, please continue.
Or you can invite him to sing along. Be like, your turn for a verse.
I've tried, and he's like, no, I don't like your Pachamama songs.
Aww.
So he, it's funny. It's now turned into a joke. It was definitely part of my trauma as well. So it wasn't funny at a point. Now I can laugh. And I think part of it is why I started exploring my voice at such a later age, like through singing, you know. Before it was, newscast, Emiliana, that's one version of my voice. And now it's like I'm exploring a wide range, a full spectrum. And my dad has definitely had trouble with it. My mom has been a little bit more supportive. She just kind of smiles and laughs a little bit. And she's like, you got this. I can tell it. I sound terrible sometimes, but that's part of the process of exploring. So
Everything in life is a practice. Every
Exactly.
single thing. And hard work
Exactly.
will beat talent every single time. Everything is a practice.
yes, I love that phrase. Hard work will beat talent every time. Hard work and discipline.
How many talented people do you know that never applied themselves?
So many.
How many hardworking people do you see being successful at things that they had to learn?
Yeah, so many.
Yeah.
So many. All right, so please continue. That's a lot of where your trauma came from. Everyone used to tell you to please shut up. And
Sometimes without the please.
mean people out there, these bullies.
No, they're just in a moment of anger.
Yeah.
And I understand it. And that's why I do the work that I do.
Yeah. And then, so what shifted from there, from people telling you to shut up to you actually continuing to explore this gift and then also being of service and passing it along to others?
So I always loved singing and I always loved dancing. So singing and dancing are always big parts of my life. And then I guess I became a professional singer pretty recently, actually, because for a long time I was gifted teachers who were unofficial teachers, spiritual teachers, who have no idea that they were my teachers, because they told me also to shut up and that my voice was nothing special.
Yeah.
Yet I always loved singing, and so I just kept on singing.
I'm getting the chills.
Like ex-boyfriends, people throughout my life. But I never stopped. I always loved it, and so I just kept going. And then I was in a relationship where my partner at the time was like, hey, well, why haven't you recorded any songs? I was like, because I don't think that anyone would listen, and I don't think, and it really probably made me cry at the time.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to even think about this, and I think I might cry. But I said,
This is a safe space.
oh, thank you.
All vulnerability is welcome.
Thank you. I said, I don't think that anyone would listen. I don't think that these are worthy of being recorded. Like, why would anyone ever listen to anything that I shared? There's so much good stuff out there, and there's so many talented artists. Why would anyone ever listen to what I had to share? And so I got the courage to record a song, and I actually recorded two original songs. And after that, the process was so empowering because I had recorded multiple songs. I probably have like over a dozen songs out there that are electronic music that I had recorded with my electronic band from the past, because I used to sing electronic music. But then a solo project, that was a huge undertaking. And for me to be the boss, for me to choose the arrangement, the composition, what instrumentation, everything, every detail, what effects to use here, it was such a beautiful creative process. And I got addicted because that level of creativity and then collaboration with the producer and having that person listen, and it's not that I was bossy or anything. I'd be like, what do you think about this? And then getting that feedback. And it's just such a beautiful process that I thought, the recording studio is my second home now. I love the beach. I guess one day maybe I'll have a recording studio by the beach. But I love being in the recording studio because it's kind of like a womb. It's a birthplace of creation where everything is possible. And now that I say those words out loud, it's kind of like the ether, because you have limitless possibilities. And you're going to create something, and it's going to reach somebody somewhere. And so going through that process, it was a natural segue for me to just want to share it. And it's not, I've never really been someone to just come out and share something. Usually it works, someone invites me, and then once I have the invitation, then I'll go for it. And so I think someone was like, hey, do you teach voice and like somatic and voice activation, da-da-da-da? And I was like, I can totally do that, because now what I do is what I wish that someone had done for me. Because instead of telling me to shut up, I sit there and I let them know, hey, your voice is unique. We're going to listen to your voice. You're going to sing these songs. We're going to work on opening your throat, relaxing you, opening you to the possibilities of what this song can sound like coming through you, because it's not going to sound, and it's not supposed to sound like the version that you heard. It's going to sound like your own version. And that experience is your own version of life.
I love that. I'm like speechless a little bit. And just sitting in the presence of silence after hearing your voice, which is so powerful. Go ahead. Nina Millet is my friend. She's supporting us behind the scenes and taking a little bit of videos, and she has a question.
Do you think that
I'll say the question in the microphone so that to make sure that people in the podcast can hear it. But she's essentially asking, I think, if I hear you correctly, if when someone is out of tune, if that's something that has to do with an emotional imbalance or something maybe traumatic in ourselves that we haven't healed.
yes, or
So, and she's also explaining that when she sings a lot too, and when she's in tune, she finds in herself that she's very imbalanced. When she sings out of tune, she feels like she's out of balance with herself. When she's out of balance is when she sings out of tune. So how do you, how do you work with people that are learning to be in tune with themselves? And is that something that has to do with emotions or a process that we're going through?
100%. Yeah, so the way that I like to work is somatic practices and technical practices. So sometimes we'll work more on the somatic aspect to get some energy out, to get you comfortable. What I say are the two most important things for singing are relaxation and hydration. So if anyone's not relaxed, if there's tension in the body, in the mind, in their life, and they're preoccupied, it's going to be hard for them to sing because your voice is a divine channel.
Sound very well.
So like how to manage the stress or
How to, yes.
It's a
before
practice.
singing.
You're going to be nervous initially. Yeah, because it's something new. And then the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. But a lot of vocal warm-ups are also somatic exercises. Because
Let's
they're
go in.
opening, they're relaxing you. Also, the fluttering of the lips, for example, it's and a lot of vocal warm-ups are great for the vagus nerve.
Yeah.
Also, so it's all medicine.
Let's go into that
Oh,
deeper
you-
too. Let's go into the somatic exercises deeper too. Yeah, explain to us a little bit on how that works, right? And what is a somatic exercise?
So somatic exercise it has to do with embodiment. So there's technical, like how to get the best vibrato. Vibrato can be slow, vibrato can be fast, you know? And if you don't know what vibrato is, instead of being like, ooh, I can be like, ooh. So the second one was an example of vibrato. But, for example, humming. So hum and just be like, humming and going low and high. How does that feel?
It feels good.
Does
Feels
it relax
good.
you?
It's relaxing me, yeah. And if I keep going, it's gonna relax me farther.
And also relax your lips and your jaw and your tongue.
Okay. So like this.
See, I don't have a facial expression. I have resting bitch face on as I do it.
Does this look like a resting bitch face yet?
You can't. You don't have a resting bitch face. But just
I can,
relax
though.
your
If I don't have it yet, I can't.
maybe that's your active bitch face.
Okay. This is the relaxed bitch face for whoever told Emilia to shut up. Ready?
Try the lower.
And then I'm running out of breath.
That's
It's
okay.
hard.
That's when we bring our
Yeah,
hands
it's hard.
back here and we receive our breaths, our deep
Yeah.
breaths. It's really simple. It's just these practices that help you calm
does.
down. It calms down your nervous system like this. And then I have some people that are trying to be speed racers in their homes.
That sounds like me because I was like, I'm running out of breath. Wait, I can't breathe. And I'm trying to concentrate and breathe into my diaphragm, which I have challenges with. Sometimes I'm still working on like breathing in through my diaphragm to be able to sing better or speak better. So,
Well, sitting down, we lose some of our capacity anyway.
okay,
If you're standing, you have better capacity.
gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Talk about empowering the student. I love it. All right. So before I ask you to sing a song for us, is there any other story that you want to share on your personal journey, career, that you think might add value to humanity?
Oof.
Yeah.
Humanity.
To humanity. This is conscious journalism for the good of humankind.
Wow, a story for humanity.
Personal story, anything you went through.
Personal story. Sheesh. Can you
Jeez,
narrow it
that's
down a
I
little bit?
know, that's a loaded
Life,
question.
I know, life has so many fantastic stories. Every
It
day is an
does.
adventure.
This is true. This is true. I mean, what's coming to me right now is sharing just how grateful I feel to have you sitting in front of me and sharing what you just shared about your voice, right? Because it's something I went through as well and my own limiting beliefs. And applauding you for having the courage to continue regardless, you know, because a lot of people do listen to that external voice and shut down their mission and vision and purpose in life. And it's kind of like a reminder for us to really follow that calling, even when we don't feel like we're receiving the support that we need to work on that calling and on that purpose. So I'm very happy that you're here sharing
thank
your
you.
voice in front of a microphone and cameras and also doing it in your work with students and song circles and concerts.
Thank you. I have so many stories. I'm gonna try to think, because stories are powerful. You know, you can read a book, you can read a paragraph about information, but then when it hits you from a more emotional perspective, it's gonna make more impact.
Oh yeah.
And I've felt a lot of feelings. And
I'm getting the chills.
I just wish I had a little bit tighter of a parameter to know which story to share.
So let's go into one of your first concerts.
Oh, I have a story. Great.
Amazing.
I have oh my gosh, girl. I can't even count how many.
And also, speaking of, embracing the full spectrum of ourselves, right? I think what just happened is I just gave you full permission to share anything about your life and a story, and it's so hard to pick. And I love what you just said, because you said, I just wish I had more of a parameter.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess, like, what's coming for me right now, like, we ourselves unconsciously, like, try to limit ourselves too.
Well, it's not really that. It's because I know myself and I'm full flow.
Okay.
And so if I don't have any structure, then I'm just spread out all over the place. So once I have this structure of a channel, then I can flow right into it. I'm like, okay, scoot up, boop.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So I'll funnel
water,
down all this.
I'm just hanging out.
I love it. I was like, wait, why are we? So that's probably my perceived idea, right? I was like, oh my gosh, am I limiting myself somewhere? And I am with the siren. I'll do this full siren at the end. We'll try that again. But I'll funnel down the question and give you that structure of, all right, your first concert.
Okay. Well, this is actually not my first concert, but this is a story of resilience. So I got invited to sing the Star Spangled Banner, which is infamously one of the most challenging songs.
Yes.
I got invited to sing the Star Spangled Banner when I was young. I think I was like 12 or 13 at a college baseball game or something.
Wow.
So there were like maybe thousands of people in the stands. So it came to, and the rocket's red glare, right? And I didn't let myself hit the note.
Okay.
I think that instead of even squeaking, I just was like, ee! Like, I think I just went totally quiet. And I pretended that I was sick.
Oh.
And I didn't want to sing for so long after that. And then I came back and now I'm singing again. But I guess that story is just to let people know, like, it's not going to be perfect 100% of the time, but do it again and again and again and again, because everything is a practice. And you will have these moments, but you're going to survive and get through them, laugh at them, because that's a previous version of you. The main thing is to keep on evolving and keep on trying. Other times, I mean, I've forgotten words. I'll tell you this story, girl. One time when I used to sing with DJs, we had my DJ friend and I had this gig at this place. And usually, imagine that you are a country music band. Yeah. Okay, people know you play country music. You've been playing country music.
Right there. I'm still processing that you didn't hit the note.
And
you was
I ran off.
It's just like
I ran out. Like, we're building up to the peak, the climax of the song, and it's all beautiful. Like, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, or the ramparts we watched at the twilight's last gleaming, right? And it's like, whose broad stripes? And then it's like,
I felt that moment with you, like, processing my feelings around it, like, oh my gosh, like, and feeling your vulnerability, and also, like, you know, you're past that moment, you're singing again, like, should I laugh, should I not, but, like,
you can laugh because now I can laugh, but for a while I cried.
Of course.
But it's one note in a song, and you know what? I bet that those people, they, if anyone remembers it, hopefully they laugh too.
Hopefully these
Remember that one time?
that girl didn't hit the note in Star Spangled
and she ran off the field. I ran off the field and pretended I was sick.
Like you stopped and you just ran.
I
or
just
did you
stopped and
finish
ran.
the song? Wait, this got better.
I didn't even finish.
I'm gonna cry. I don't know if I'm crying because I feel sad for you in that moment.
Yep, it's a human experience.
Oh man. Oh my gosh. I'm literally tearing
At least
up.
I didn't poop on myself. 'Cause
That would have been a
but
was that,
I don't think that would
was
have
a
been
fear at one point.
that's noticeable.
Oh my god, was that a fear at one point, pooping on yourself
Oh, what?
in stage? Was that a fear at one point?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say.
No,
Were you worried?
I've never been. Thank goodness, not yet.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. All right, I needed this joy in my life. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What a beautiful story. I'm
you.
so happy that you continued to sing after you ran off the field. I can't even imagine. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, it was a
That's
tough
hard.
one. It was a tough one.
All right.
But you got to bounce back. Life keeps going.
Exactly.
And also these things that we think are so big, everything in life is relative.
Yes.
So maybe nobody
Oh my
even
gosh.
remembers that except for me.
For you. Yeah. Who knows?
But maybe people do.
I mean, I don't know. You had an audience of 1,000 people. Maybe one remembers out of 1,000. Oh, man. And thank you for sharing that story. I was like, wait, I got to pause her for a second because I'm still processing the fact that she just stayed silent in the middle of a stadium. Like, that's got to be harsh. And though, this is also inspiration and resilience, like you said, because you know, if you're the coach and you're the music teacher and you're singing concerts as well, it's a reminder of, hey, the human experience, we're all gonna make mistakes or it's not gonna be perfect all the time. Even the teachers or the experts are still perfecting their craft, and just do it. Just go out there and do it. Mm-hmm. With that said, continue with your other story.
No, the other story wasn't. It's. I think we're good there.
We're good. Okay. We'll end it on that. Mm-hmm. All right, Emilia, thank you so much for your time, for your presence.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for sharing that huge vulnerability moment and that story. And before you sing this next song, I guess let's just, whoever's listening to this, we're going to do the siren together.
Oh, all right.
Let's do the siren together. Wherever you are, please do try this at home or in your car.
I'm gonna push my microphone away.
Perfect, me too. All right, and so we're going to, you guide me through it. We're going to breathe again and then do the siren.
Yeah, definitely. Let's actually go through three diaphragmatic breaths. So
Okay.
take your time, receiving in through the nose, out through the nose, and let it out on a low hum.
Nina, you can do this with us too.
Then we're going to bring one hand down and let this hand that you bring down alongside your body, let this be your note-o-meter. It's going to measure your notes. So it starts low, hanging down by your body, and as the note gets higher or sharper, you're going to move your arm up. So just find a comfortable low note. Ooh. Move your arm up. Ooh.
Woo! Did you hold back, Nina? A little bit. You held back? Okay. I feel like I let it out this time. Not as much. All right. I feel like I definitely let it out. Thank you again. And I will leave you guys with this woman's lovely voice. and hoping that this is remembrance for you as well, to practice your voice and embrace the full spectrum of your voice.
Full spectrum of your life.
That too.
Hey and away, oh hey and away, hey and away, oh hey, hey and away, oh hey and away, hey and away, oh hey. En el cielo y en la tierra, con el sol y las estrellas. En el cielo y en la tierra, la lunita y las estrellas. Siento el fuego dentro, dentro. Siento el fuego, aquí te encuentro. Pachamama en este fuego, Pachamama, aquí te encuentro. Vuela, vuela, aguilita, vuela, vuela, condorcito. Vuelan libres por nosotros, cuidan, miran todo, todo. Siento el fuego dentro, dentro. Siento el fuego, aquí te encuentro. Pachamama en este fuego. Pachamama, aquí te encuentro. Pachamama en este fuego. Pachamama, aquí te encuentro. Hey and away. Hey and away. Hey and away. Oh hey. Hey and away. Oh hey and away. Hey and away. Oh hey. Hey and away. Oh hey and away. Hey and away. Oh hey. Siento el fuego dentro, dentro. Siento el fuego, aquí te encuentro. Pachamama en este fuego. Pachamama, aquí te encuentro. Pachamama en este fuego. Pachamama, aquí te encuentro.
Thank you, Emilia. I'll leave you guys with that and the frequencies of her angelic voice. So hopefully this activates something within you guys as well. Thanks again for watching The Awakened Journalist, where we do conscious journalism for the good of humankind.
Could you tell us who and exactly what to do?
The sun forsake me and the moon forgave me.